I had a prepared speech, and we're going to switch gears. Everyone before me has made great points. A month ago, I spoke before ZAP protesting a 5-story building that was proposed at Telegraph and Ashby. We were heard at 11:30 at night, and we lost. I see that the developer of that project is sitting here before me, 4 from the right. I'm wondering how we can get some objective decision-making in ZAB and other things like this if the same people on the boards are also proposing the same types of projects that they're supposed to be overseeing.
To hear comments. You're free to say what you want.
Okay. I didn't hear the beep. I'll stay here for 10 seconds.
Mina Valenza, followed by William Manley, followed by Craig Becker.
Hi, my name is Mina Valenza. I'm also a street artist on Telegraph, and I've been out there for a number of years. Telegraph Avenue has a very, very special character, and it is a very precious place to all of us. I look around the rest of Berkeley, and I've seen what they've done in Oxford, and they've actually devastated that by putting up new buildings and taking away the sunlight there. I don't want that to happen to Telegraph. It's very precious. People do come from all over the world. They not only use the car, they get on aeroplanes to come and see us. So this, you do not need BRT. Thank you.
Thank you. William Manley, followed by Craig Baker, followed by Ruth Bird. William Manley not here. Craig Becker.
Hello, my name is Craig Becker. I own the Cafe Mediterranean on Telegraph Avenue, and I'm also on the board of directors of the Business Improvement District. And I'm just here to support the position that was voted unanimously on by the Telegraph Business Improvement District. It's in the public review binder, item 10, at caption 7, page 33. And it's too much to repeat here, but I would urge the Planning Commission to read it very carefully. I'm just going to address one issue. First of all, I'd like to say that we're not against improved bus service along Telegraph, but we're very much opposed to turning Telegraph into 2 lanes. And I have heard a lot of people oppose that, but I'd just like to have you think of the fact that none of the businesses along Telegraph have a service lane behind them. We rely on large trucks to make deliveries, and these trucks won't fit into yellow zones or parking zones. They're going to block a lane of traffic. They come from Oakland, northbound along Telegraph. If they're opposed by a southbound lane, it's just going to be a formula for a gridlock. Thank you.
Craig Becker, followed by Ruth Bird, followed by Roland Peterson.
That was me.
Sorry, Ruth Bird, followed by Roland Peterson, followed by Rick Spade.
Hi, I'm Ruth Bird. I'm a crafts person on Telegraph also. I've been here 30 plus years. I make my own jewelry. A couple of observations. When they showed us those slides, there were no people in those slides. I don't know how they did manage to do that, but there were no people. And I have a question about those raised platforms. Are they going to be in the middle of the street, or are they going to be on the sidewalk? We have to be ready to trip over them somewhere because there's no room for them in either place on the part of Telegraph where I am. And I also don't know how long the construction would be torn up and some kind of a mess. As far as the buses, I have heard that there's a place in Hayward, Buy American, that makes cleaner and cheaper and local, less polluting or non-polluting buses. And I don't know why we have to buy them from Belgium and carry them all the way from there to here. Because we shouldn't have to breathe on exhaust when it can be done. I think small buses running more frequently would satisfy the needs.
Roland Peterson, followed by Rick Spade, followed by Joshua Abrams.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Roland Peterson, Director of the Telegraph Business Improvement District. A couple key points. We believe that 2 ways on Telegraph traffic will not work with crossover, loading, as Craig mentioned, delivery trucks, all of that. There are multiple good alternatives for return traffic that do not require two-way traffic. Parking removal anywhere in this district will be disastrous for business. Removing parking on Dana Street is nonsensical. We have 60-foot buses now that use Dana Street, and the parking is still there. That claim is ridiculous. The Transportation Commission recommended removing 70 parking spaces as one of their alternatives on Bancroft without even asking any of the merchants on Bancroft whether that's a good idea. That's a recipe for disaster there. The Transportation Commission ignored overwhelming advice from the public at its meeting. I was there, and it was overwhelming in one direction. And secondly, and lastly, I would refer to the Southside Plan. It has been twice erroneously referred to. The Southside Plan calls for considering changing Bancroft and Durant to two-ways, not converting it. That's an important distinction, and those claims that have been made by two people so far are erroneous.
Rick Spade, followed by Joshua Abrams, followed by Russell and Duvall.
What is the city but the people? That's what the city plan liked to proclaim a few years ago. But I didn't hear anything about the people I heard about. Riders, transit people, not the people whose neighborhood is going to be turned into a corridor. With all respect to Kitty, the BRT may work in London, but they don't run it down Carnaby Street. They don't run it through the Louvre courtyard. Two-way traffic on Telegraph is suicidal, crazy, and gridlock. You don't need to theorize about it. Just go up to Russell and College and look at how it is between Russell and Chabot on that stretch there, and it will be on the Richter scale 10 times worse on Telegraph. The argument against southbound Dana in terms of having to walk an extra block is ridiculous. They want a better local service, more buses is what we want, maybe free transfers from BART to AC Transit, do some things to get people. Putting empty buses down streets and creating congestion is not going to make people leave their cars. You've got to change people's thinking about cars, and you've got to talk to the people whose neighborhoods are being destroyed by this thing.
Joshua Abrams, followed by Russell Aduval, followed by Paul Wojcicki.
Hi, I'm Josh Abrams. I'm a driver and a transit rider. I decide what mode to take based on primarily on time and reliability. And I'm pro-dedicated lanes for buses because it helps me not drive. In fact, having a dedicated right-of-way for public transit, I believe, is the best way to give people an alternative besides their cars. Part of why BART is effective. It's fast, reliable, and doesn't get caught with competing modes of traffic. But mostly, I just want to encourage you to think about the future, think about 20 and 30 years out. And we know what we're doing today isn't working. We know that our roads are automobile dominated and that it's not sustainable, that it's not acceptable for climate change or air pollution or for people that don't have the option of driving. And I encourage you to endorse a bold, visionary, different future that includes a dedicated lane for buses. Thank you.
Thank you. Russell Aduval, followed by Paul Wojcicki, followed by Esther Silverstein.
I'm Russell Aduval. I've been a street vendor for 37 years. I've been standing out there. 37 years ago, we used to have to sleep on our spaces to get space at Christmas. My wife, my partner, lives with me on approximately Seminary and East 14th. She takes the bus every day. The biggest problem with taking the bus are the fights on the bus, and that determines what time she gets home. You can do whatever you want, but fights have to stop, and I doubt you can stop them. They're significant if you know the area. Two-way